All right, welcome back. Well, Mr. Figba, the INEC has said repeatedly that, look, they will not make use of incident forms for these coming elections. But the PDP also recently raised objections saying they do not want INEC to use incident forms. So it does appear as though why or what is the PDP relying on, especially when the commissioner said we don't plan to use incident forms?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. It is important for us to continue to hammer and insist on what should give birth to free, fair, and credible election. Having done a little bit of analysis and research into the factors that led to the outcome of 2015 elections, we have since discovered categorically that about 13.5 million persons, who predominantly voted for APC in 2015 from the northern part of the country, relied heavily on the use of incident form. If you take that away from the 30.5 million voters altogether, that's almost about 44% of those who voted on the excuse that the card readers did not function. And don't forget that there were also, copious allegations about underage voting, particularly in Kano State and some other northern parts of the country. And so to that extent, one will not be canvassing for a return of incident form that will give very lame opportunity and excuse for people to rig elections and also manipulate the outcome. The card reader must be made functional, and it has to be what will be applied by every Tom, Dick, and Harry, so that it can also checkmate the issue of underage voting and what have you. Because what we experienced in 2015, introspective speaking now, is that about 13.5 million persons, use incident form as an excuse that the card readers were not functioning. So we are insisting that INEC must stay on its course, by ensuring that card readers are used. And that was why we were trying to say the president should have signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which gave opportunity for strengthening the processes leading to the elections, which gave opportunity of ensuring that some of these issues are covered by our relevant electoral laws. But because of the panic mode of the APC, they advised the president that he shouldn't sign a bill that would guarantee credible, free, and fair elections in 2019, using the excuse that it was too close to election. But they didn't raise objection when, at the same time, the budget of 2019 was presented to National Assembly in the same December.
Ali, I'm just wondering, does it matter to your party if the incident forms are used or not?
Well, I would have loved to respond to Qasim's allegations, but let me start by answering your questions first. On one hand, you have a system where you want to actually follow a proper technological accreditation system, which is really good. It enhances the electoral system. On this other hand, we also know that when you are dealing with machine, then we may bound to see some issues where it naturally must fail in some areas. Now, what do? Do you disenfranchise someone who actually comes to board due to no fault of that person? That that person shouldn't vote totally because a machine has failed, not by his fault, not because he didn't register as a voter. He has his card, PVC, everything. What do you do in this situation? That is left to Nigerians, whatever the commission wanted to do. It's okay by me, and I believe it's okay by our party, by APC. Now, back to the allegations made by Councilmember February about 13.5 million voted on with incident fund. Oh, actually, they all, let's assume, so they want us to believe that out of the 15 million votes that were cast to President Muhammad Buhari, that 13.5 of them were from incident report forms, that only 2 million are the people that were properly accredited to read the card reader. You see the issues we're talking about. They will pick things from social media, not reliably a statistical data from the commission. There is nowhere where the commission has said this is what happened and this is the demography, or this is the people that voted for this candidate that used the incident report. But that is what they want us to believe. I don't even believe of the figure, because that's a figure bandied about in social media, not from INEC. But they are okay to heap it. They are good, comfortable to heap it on President Muhammad Buhari. And I tell you, the issue, the 2015 election was actually good one compared to previous elections before that 2015.
All right, we need to bring in Mr. Luole Osaze Uzi, INEC's Director for Voter Information and Education. He joins us on the phone this morning. Thank you for joining us today. Well, concerning this that the PDP has raised about the appointment of Amina Zakari, how does INEC consider those concerns?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain, for having me. It's a needless controversy, if I may say so. Basically, the text of the chairman's broadcast essay did talk about the role of the committee that will do that. It's basically an administrative committee. It's an ad hoc committee, a facility management committee, basically. Their role is to go to the International Conference Center, negotiate with the management about the use of the center for about 2-3 weeks for the period of the election, immediately prior to the election and immediately after the election, to ensure that all the facilities are working well, that the toilets are okay, there's a facility for a sick bay, and we get our medical personnel there in case anybody falls ill, to ensure that there's security. How do we protect the place? Don't forget, they say it's not coalition committee. It is a coalition center committee. So basically, they're in charge of the physical structure. It's an administrative committee, not a process committee. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, by virtue of the Constitution and the Electoral Act, is the returning officer of the country for the presidential election. It is he who decides the validity of votes and any issues dealing with the process, both as the chief returning officer, the chief electoral commissioner, and the chairman of INEC. So that's a 3-point rule there. So in one sense, it's him. Amina Zakari's committee, of which I'm a member, she's there because she is the one in charge of welfare. She was also importantly involved in the 2015 in negotiating with the ICC management, ensuring that the place was suitable for the purpose. The media center will be established. So because of that, I am a member of that committee. They sit and work to get the facility ready. The commissioner in charge and the director in charge is a member of that committee. So basically, relevant members, because their departments have a thing to do with the center, fiscal management center, are members of that committee. She has no role whatsoever to deal with the process of coalition. It's a coalition center. You can compare it to somebody who's been asked to renovate a building or prepare a building, make it suitable for habitation. That does not give the person or the committee an overlord right over that property. The person cannot dictate what happens inside the property. It's to prepare the facility for use of the commission as a coalition center. In the text, the chairman also said that all 73 political parties sponsoring candidates for the election have access to that committee, that coalition center. So the distinction has to be drawn between a coalition committee and a coalition center, which is a physical structure.